yo, Beyonce is doing her own solo album, and I had an opportunity to get on it, and I jumped at.
It was crazy to know that, like, I mean, she was in a group of girls who I really liked at the time too. I was like, yo, them hot.
In August 2003, 50 million people watched Beyoncé perform Baby Boy alone at the VMA, and Sean Paul was sitting in the audience, humiliated, as Paris Hilton turned to him and asked, "Why aren't you up there?" That wasn't a joke, that wasn't small talk, that was a sharp spotlight on something already boiling behind the scenes. Hours before showtime, Sean Paul had been pulled from the performance without explanation, despite the song sitting at #1 and their rehearsals already being locked in. Back in Jamaica, media outlets didn't pull punches. They blamed Jay-Z. The jealousy narrative spread fast. Sean himself later told the Daily Beast, "It was embarrassing and weird. I'm sitting there with my wife, and Beyoncé's coming down the stairs singing our song, and I'm not up there." The very next day, he was lured to Washington, D.C. with a promise of redemption, a high-profile duet in front of 3,000 power players, an influential crowd packed with A-list industry names and political elites. He waited backstage. Hours passed, no one came to get him, and when they finally tried to rush him on stage like an afterthought, he snapped. There were 50 million people watching the VMAs. "I'm not doing it." He walked out. That was the last straw for him. But for Beyoncé's team, it was just the start. This wasn't a scheduling mix-up. This was the first domino in a 2-decade blackout. It didn't stop at one canceled show. A few months later, at a live event in Scotland, something strange happened mid-performance. Sean Paul's microphone suddenly cut out. No warning, no tech issue flagged. The beat rolled on, Beyoncé's chorus looped, and his verse was erased in real time. He was left stranded on stage while her voice played on without him. Afterward, backstage, she was furious, but not at the sound crew. She pulled him aside and, according to his own account, laid into him. "These rumors with my career." She wanted to know who was fueling the speculation that they were more than musical collaborators. He told her point blank, "It's not coming from me." But the damage was already done.
We know it's crazy rumors. I'm sitting here talking to you. So she was like, rumors follow me at this time a lot. And
after that, their chemistry vanished from public view. Despite Baby Boy spending 9 straight weeks at #1, they only performed it live together 3 times. 3. For a song that iconic from 2 global artists, that number is baffling. What's more, every one of those performances came under fire from behind the scenes. Technical issues, setlist changes, and the tension between their teams, palpable. This wasn't creative friction. This was political. And if Jay-Z wasn't even at the VMAs that night, who gave the order to erase Sean Paul from the stage? And why has Beyoncé never answered that question? For years, fans pointed fingers squarely at Jay. He was already dating Beyoncé at the time, and the optics were hard to ignore. Sean Paul is a good-looking global chart topper from Jamaica, suddenly iced out just as his duet with her explodes. And it happens while she's entering into one of the most tightly controlled power couple brands in modern entertainment history. But when pressed, Sean Paul threw a curveball. In a later interview, he denied Jay-Z was the puppet master. It's weird. Maybe it had something to do with her management at the time. And just like that, the target shifted.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, the industry's filled with gangsters.
Now let's talk about her management at the time. A shadowy phrase that means far more than it says. Insiders have described Beyoncé's early solo career as a battleground. Contracts, image control, micromanaged press cycles, and the team around her, many of whom were family, had a notoriously rough track record when it came to creative collaborators who got too close. That same team was responsible for the Baby Boy music video, another moment that's raised eyebrows for years. Despite being a duet, Sean Paul and Beyoncé never appear in a scene together. Not one. The entire video was spliced from separate shoots, a bizarre move for a song built on chemistry. Sean Paul later chalked it up to her creative vision. But in a separate interview, when asked if it was his idea to shoot solo, he said plainly, "No, I thought we were going to be in scenes together."
For itself, #1, 9 weeks on the Billboard chart. It's one of my biggest songs. At the time, it was like, the biggest thing I've ever did.
Things got murkier in 2021. During a radio interview on Jamaica's 2 Live Crew program, host Wesley Berger dropped a quiet bomb. He said what many had already suspected, that Jay-Z did not want Sean Paul anywhere near Beyoncé during the Baby Boy era. Sean Paul didn't deny it. Yes, to me that was something that was apparent at the time. That comment reignited every theory fans had kept simmering for 2 decades. So what was going on? Were these just isolated PR decisions? Or were we watching a careful, deliberate effort to rewrite history and remove Sean Paul from Beyoncé's breakout era? What's clear is that their collaboration was frozen in time almost as soon as it started. The rumors never faded away. In fact, they evolved. One of the more persistent whispers, fueled by the sudden erasure, the vanishing live shows, and the visibly strained body language in rare appearances, suggested something deeper. A child, not Blue Ivy, not the twins, a first child hidden from the public eye, the product of a relationship that never officially existed. It sounds extreme, but the pieces don't lie flat. If this was all professional miscommunication, why did the sabotage continue?
Some people are actually accusing her of wearing a fake baby bump.
You know, there are certain things that are so far that it doesn't even upset you. My mother, she's like, nobody's talking about my grandbaby. My grandbaby's not even here yet.
Let's not forget, at the height of the rumors, Beyoncé confronted Sean Paul again, this time backstage at the MTV Europe Music Awards in November 2003. She was reportedly pissed, demanding answers about who was keeping the gossip alive. These rumors with my career, she told him. It wasn't a polite warning, it was a plea, or maybe a threat. And yet Sean Paul still says he wasn't the source. Meanwhile, the fan theories evolved with time. When Beyoncé later announced her pregnancy with Blue Ivy at the 2011 VMAs, conspiracy blogs erupted again, not because of what she said, but because of what people claimed she didn't. Fabric folding during interviews, inconsistent due dates, and a controlled media rollout all sparked speculation that something was being hidden, possibly not a pregnancy, but a cover-up of an earlier one. The connection back to Sean Paul was whispered but never confirmed, and no matter how much denial came from Beyoncé's camp, the speculation never really stopped. Now, with Sean Paul resurfacing in interviews, revisiting those events with new detail and a sharper tone, people are asking the same question all over again. What really happened between him and Beyoncé in 2003? Why was one of the biggest duets of the decade buried so fast? And if it wasn't Jay-Z's jealousy driving the blackout, as Sean Paul now claims, then who exactly was pulling the strings? Because while the spotlight has danced from Jay to management to PR, one thing hasn't changed. Beyoncé has never directly explained why Sean Paul was erased from her solo debut moment.
Say, big up to Beyoncé. She told me too that, rumors follow her and thing, and all of us just buried.
The VMA snub wasn't just a scandal. It was the spark that lit the internet's wildest conspiracy. Within weeks of that 2003 broadcast, underground message boards and early gossip blogs started spinning the bizarre absence of Sean Paul into something more sinister. The fact that the baby boy video had been shot in fragments, with Beyoncé and Sean Paul never sharing a single scene, suddenly took on a darker meaning. To some, it wasn't just a creative decision, it was calculated distance. Whispers turned to theories. Was she hiding something? The notion of a secret pregnancy, allegedly timed around the song's production, gained traction not because of evidence, but because of the silence. No birth records, no denials, and no comment from Beyoncé, even as the story evolved around her.
Why did you decide to announce to the world that you were having a baby in that way?
News that's that big, it's hard to hide and keep to yourself.
Were you surprised at the reaction, or you must have been tickled at the reaction because everybody was so thrilled for you?
I felt so liberated, and I felt like, I can breathe and be happy. And
Sean Paul didn't help matters by playing both sides. In a 2022 interview, he admitted the split scene music video was probably her vision. But here's the contradiction. If it was her idea to film separately, why did that same strategy repeat itself on the VMA stage? Why was there never a follow-up performance? No Grammys duet, no international tour moment, not even a casual award show appearance, nothing. 3 total live performances of a song that spent 9 weeks at #1? That's not just rare, that's deliberate. When Radio Jamaica confronted Sean Paul in 2021 about the speculation, the interview took another turn. Host Wesley Berger brought up the now infamous theory that Jay-Z didn't want Sean Paul anywhere near Beyoncé. Instead of shutting it down, Sean responded, "Yes, to me, that was something that was apparent at the time." He quickly added, "Nothing ever happened." But the contradiction was already out. If there was nothing inappropriate, why did her team allegedly work so hard to keep him away?
I can only say as a father that I hope I instill with them the values that they would want to look for in a man. And I think I did when Beyoncé wrote on her, I think it was her first album, maybe it was the second one, the song Daddy, that she hoped that she found someone just like her.
Beyoncé's first pregnancy wasn't publicly announced until the 2011 VMAs, again a stage reveal, this time choreographed down to the final beat. But just before that reveal, blogs began questioning her due date. Footage from a behind-the-scenes video appeared to contradict the timeline she had previously shared. Fans did the math, and in the margins of those discussions, the old baby boy rumors crept back in. Was Blue Ivy really her first? Or was she simply the first child Beyoncé chose to make public? It's important to note that no hard evidence has ever confirmed the hidden child theory, but that hasn't stopped speculation from evolving into full-blown investigative threads with thousands of comments, time-stamped receipts, and side-by-side breakdowns of interviews, lyrics, and early public appearances. The question isn't just, did something happen? It's why was so much effort spent to pretend nothing ever did? 20 years later, the only thing we know for sure is this. Someone made decision that night to erase Sean Paul from Beyoncé's biggest solo debut, and no one has ever taken responsibility. So now we're asking you, was the VMA snub just a petty power play, or the first crack in a carefully engineered public persona? Did Sean Paul get caught in a love triangle, or in something much more carefully hidden? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because the truth may not be where we're looking. Until next time, keep watching closely. In Hollywood, nothing stays buried forever.